divine appointment, each and every one of us that heard the call and answered that call. And I also address this to our viewing audience, that if you tuned in at this moment, that it's time for transformation, for going to the next level, for releasing what no longer serves, so that we can arise triumphant and victorious over the things of this world. On this Easter Sunday, as we come together to acknowledge that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, we can use it. That is why we are here. And Easter's message is there is no death, that each of us is timeless. We're ageless beings of light, that energy is neither destroyed nor created, it merely changes form and moves into another dimension. And as we come together in life to experience all that life has to offer, to acknowledge that we're here to live and love, to unfold, to be all that we can be. And also through our suffering, as Dostoevsky stated, that I may be worthy of my sufferings. What that means is that I may learn and grow and unfold and move to the next level and be redeemed through them, because we experience the human condition on so many levels. And if we do not learn, if we do not grow, we get to keep doing it. Usually on Easter Sunday, I go through the rules of being human, that each of us receives a body. We may not like the body, we may like it, but it's the body that we received this lifetime. And that it's an avenue, it's a channel to do the will of He who sent us. That we will have lessons, like it or not. And if we do not learn our lessons well, we get to what? We get to repeat them over and over and over again until we learn. And then we go to the next level, and guess what? More lessons. And as Dr. Ernest Holmes stated, we learn our lessons through intuition and inspiration, or by bitter experience. And most of the time, it is the latter. It is the bitter experience. So I'm all for learning through intuition and inspiration. Be still and know that I am God. Each and every one of us goes within to the secret place of the Most High. That inner place that has never been touched by grief. It has never given offense. It has never taken offense. It is the place of God. Whatever we conceive our higher power to be, whatever name we put on that divinity, to know that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world of conditions, appearances, and effects. All this is temporary. This too shall pass. But my word, my love, my truth, my beauty is an eternal verity. It will not pass. Now, Saint Teresa said, let nothing disturb thee. Let nothing affright thee. All things are changing. God only is changeless. All things are changing. God only is changeless. Today we look at the gifts of the Spirit. I feel that we come into so many gifts of the Spirit. Some of us, we do a Wednesday night live where we have a Mystic Arts Fair, and some of us come in to this energy field, and as we come in, we are intuitives. We have many intuitives with us at Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. Other wonderful gifts of writing and authoring and giving and feeding the multitudes through that medium. And there are the gifts of listening to each other. The true gifts of listening. Be still and know. And as we listen and you feel heard, out of that there is a healing. One security guard said that he had a really down day. And he was a security officer of a major hospital. And he said, I was doing the rounds and it was not my favorite day on the Earth School. It was just, one of those days where I was not feeling good about myself, was feeling somewhat depressed, and I was, walking down the hall, and all of a sudden I could see coming from the distance one of the mental health patients. Oh my God, this is all I need. And suddenly he got closer and closer, and he smiled. His smile lit up the entire hospital, and he put his hand up for a high five. And he said, even in the state that I was in the energy of his light, my hand went up and met his hand. And I smiled. And he went on his way, and I had such a shift in my consciousness. Something within me moved. He moved me. And suddenly this mental health patient was my teacher. He was my physician. And I was transformed by that touch, that high five, and the energy of light and the energy of smiles. This is why we are here, to assist and support one another. And every once in a while when we are feeling the human condition and we are feeling down, we are not feeling good about ourselves, someone smiles and they touch us, and that human touch is transforming. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The things of this world, you turn on the 6 o'clock news, there it is. It's staring you in the face. I just go into spiritual treatment every time I see what's on the news. I make the shift in my own consciousness, and I know that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. We can use it, we can speak our word, and we know that if enough spiritual people come together, that we can make that shift, that there is a harmonic convergence and coming together in the light. Jesus was so clear on this. And when he came, he knew that he had work to do. I came that ye might have life and have it more abundantly. He had the gift, that intuitive gift, where he could read thoughts. He knew what the publicans were thinking. He didn't always, on his best day, he wasn't really thinking about all the wonderful things that he could say. He called it as he saw it. And when the publicans were there and all of the people on the corner, and they were praying loudly and being very religious, we are not religious. We are spiritual in our way of life. We are not about churchianity. We're about spirituality. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. Many, many pathways up the mountaintop, and the view is always the same from the summit. This is our path, new thought. The laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, the revelations of religion applied to human need and the aspirations of man and woman. That we learn and we grow. That we are worthy of our suffering so that we can go to the next level and we can experience joy, which is the most infallible sign of the presence of God, is the joy. One young man was sharing that he learned his lesson. He said, I was just like numbed out. So I'd take my motorcycle out in the country and I'd go twice the speed limit and I'd get that adrenaline rush and I felt alive. And he said, one moonlit night, I was rounding the corners, I was going twice the speed limit, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a deer, and the deer saw me out of the corner of her eye. And as the gods would have it, the deer came out into the road. We collided. The deer went flying. I careened through the sky. The motorcycle cartwheeled over the road. And I lay there in my black leather knowing that if a car came, they wouldn't even see me. I'm dressed in black. And he said, as he lay there, and he opened himself, that he heard a car, he heard brakes, he heard the slam of a car door, he heard a woman's voice say, I will call for help. She was kind, she was authoritative, but she called for help. She got the helicopter, the Red Cross helicopter there to life flight him to a hospital. He said, on that day, the day that I died to who I was formerly, to the person that I was to be, the person of gratitude, the person of service, the person that appreciated everything that he saw. And he said, I had a warning that day. I was doing my motorcycle thing and a rabbit ran across the road and I almost hit it and almost crashed earlier in the day and didn't acknowledge the sign and the symbol that life had for me when the rabbit crossed the road. He said the deer was dead I was almost dead. The motorcycle was wrecked. But that deer gave her life so I could live, so that I could have a new day to appreciate every blade of grass, every leaf on the tree, the energy of love. When I healed almost a year later, I looked up and called the police. I want the police report. I want to thank this woman that came and got help for me so that I could have a new life. He said, nowhere did they have a record of her name. Nowhere was she to be seen. She was my unseen angel. I never saw her face, but I felt her love. I felt her love. I felt the energy. And he said, my life is about service now. My life is about supporting others. That every day is a gift. I am the resurrection and the life. And as we acknowledge, as we get up in the morning, that I sleep in peace, I wake in joy, and I live in the ever-present moment of now. And that I am open to learn and to grow and to be teachable. Just because, the ministers are up here doesn't mean that we are not growing and unfolding. That we have a certain level of mastery, yes, we've learned a lot. But we are still here to grow and unfold. And when Jesus saw the publicans praying on the street corners and being all holy and, holier than thou, and he said, woe be it unto you, scribes, Pharisees, publicans. Ye are like whitewashed tombs, outwardly beautifully, but inside is all manner of evil and dead men's bones. I mean, he did not win friends and influence people too much with this kind of rhetoric. But he called it as he saw it. And he also created enemies. And the betrayals that we've each experienced with people that we've loved. Someone said that he gave his life savings to a very dear friend, $300,000, and the friend absolutely took off with it and was into just a lot of fraud. And he said, I was just so deeply, deeply wounded that a friend would do this. But you know what? There we are. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity. And the truth is, material things are the easiest things to remanifest. We don't think so when we're going through it because we're experiencing lack, limitation, and scarcity. But what did Jesus say? It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Won't you open yourself up for it? Won't you acknowledge that the gifts that have been given are set before you? That it might be like a mental health patient that is truly our teacher, given that smile and a high five to snap us out of our lethargy and feeling sorry for ourselves and going through that whole pity party thing. Remember? It's so interesting that the martyrs, how many martyrs does it take to change a light bulb? None. I'll sit here in the dark already. None. So there are no victims, only volunteers, right? And when we understand that, then we'll begin to take responsibility for our lives and stop pointing out there. Because we create energetically the people that, see us coming. And if we think people use and abuse, we'll create that in our life. I believe that people are generally good, that we come in knowing that. And we learn other patterns of behavior that do not serve us. It doesn't mean that we're intolerant of the intolerant, right? It means that we send compassion, we send our love, we send the energies, the healing energy that is going to ignite that power that is greater than we are. It is about the living Christ, the living Buddha, the sacred I am nature. And in that I am nature, everything is transformed at a DNA cellular level. Though our sins, remember sin in the ancient Hebraic means what? Missing the mark. It was an archery term. We missed the mark. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Right? All have sinned. All have made mistakes and fallen short of their true self-image. When we get that, we open. It doesn't always fit our pictures, but I always believe God has a better idea. And if we're open and receptive to the better idea, we'll surrender the human ego and we'll begin to feel the intimations of immortality. Now, Wordsworth, and it was so wonderful, when I was speaking in Oxford, England, I went to Wordsworth's room, in Cambridge. And I sat there, and I said, he's just my favorite poet. An ode to intimations of immortality from recollections of early childhood. Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, or glory in the flower, I will grieve not. Rather find strength in what remains behind. Find strength in what remains behind. When we were at Premier Elder Care, our beloved Camilla went up and she said to this darling little sweet lady, and she had little, her little hair in a bun, and she was just so adorable. And she goes, honey, would you like an Easter bag? And she said, hell yes! I said, clarity is power, give it to her. Right? Clarity is power. And so, it doesn't always fit our picture. It can be a surprise. It's just kind of the way life is. But my favorite story that I always complete with every Easter is about the 3 trees. And the first tree, remember, it said, oh, I envision myself, my destiny is going to be that I am going to be this amazing treasure chest, and all the nobility are going to put their jewels and their precious, precious treasures inside of me, and I'm just going to radiate energy. And the second tree said, no, I'm going to be made into a great ship of state. I'm going to carry kings and queens and all nobility. And the third tree said, I'm going to be used, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to be used for something magnificent. And the day came when they were cut down, and they sort of lay there. And pretty soon they took the first tree and they began cutting it and making it into a feed trough. This did not fit his picture at all of a great treasure chest. He was so disillusioned. And as he lamented, the second tree was cut down and used for just a little fishing boat, not a great ship of state, just a little boat. And then the third tree just lay there. Nothing. It just lay there. What is my destiny? I guess I don't have a destiny. And as time unfolded, a babe was laid in the feed trough. And a grown man was on the Sea of Galilee in this little boat with his friends. And the waters rose, and they were frightened and said, save us, Master. And he put out his hand and said, cease, calm, and turned to his friends and said, have you not the faith? Have faith. And the third tree that lay there was suddenly used. And was put on a hill. And this great king was nailed to this tree. And he said, surely I have fulfilled my destiny. I am holding a king. None of this fit their pictures, but surely a fulfillment of their destiny. So I say to you today, if your life does not fit your pictures, know that there is another destiny that God has. I walk outside, I see the trees, the new buds and leaves. The earth rolls away the ancient tomb, and each of us arises. We're here in this room. God bless you. I love you, and a glorious Easter.